Many people shelter in place to stay safe from coronavirus. It's important to remember that for some people, home is not always a safe place. In this difficult time, many areas are seeing escalating numbers of domestic violence reports. And for some of the people who are seeking to leave or report domestic violence situations, the virus has only compounded a complicated and risky process. NBC News correspondent Morgan Radford is here to share her reporting on the rising rates of domestic violence amid the coronavirus. Morgan?
That's right, Katie. I mean, the question essentially becomes, how do you shelter in place if your shelter isn't safe? We know that these shelter in place orders were designed to protect people from the virus, but the devastating and the unintended consequences is that it's actually trapping people who are there, who are stuck inside with their abuser. So you have this mix of dangerous factors. You have abusers who are oftentimes not working now, and then those victims simply do not have reprieve. They do not have solace. They cannot get away. And so we've seen the numbers skyrocket in terms of calls now going to domestic violence hotlines and going to the police departments all across the country. For example, in New York City alone, we've seen a 53% increase in calls between February and April since that pandemic began. Houston saw a 20% increase in calls in February. Chicago, Seattle also seeing calls in the double digits. And so now you have a lot of these groups, these advocacy groups who are trying to protect abused people, and they're having to create these interesting workarounds. So, for example, they've created a code word program here in New York where any abused person can walk into a pharmacy, provide a code word, and receive safety. Also, counselors are training people in grocery stores to spot signs. They're meeting people in grocery stores because they're really now having to meet people in places that still essentially remain open. And also, now there's a text feature for those domestic violence hotlines, Katie. And here in New York, that text message, they've seen 300 text messages just since it opened within the past month. So now you're finding these creative ways to make sure that people in this city and all across the country are safe as we're seeing these numbers continue to rise.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.